What's popping, guys? What's popping? We're back again, Fury Live. We got Tim. We got Josh. Josh Shimmy, Tim Dog, blessing the panel again. Our beautiful guests. We got Dula back again. We got Fog May. I think a phone call. There goes Fog May. He's back again. He's back here. We got a good show for you guys. We're giving some predictions for the NFC side. Last week we did the AFC. Now we're doing the NFC. And a little bonus, we're going to talk about playoffs as well. So that being said, Tim, Josh, Shimmy, what's going on?
Oh, man. This is probably my favorite part of the year, Josh. Talk about football is back. A lot of things to talk about. Last week we did the AFC side. I know we had some callers who didn't like what was predicted. We didn't care. So we're going to predict the NFC side. If they don't like the prediction, but they can always call us and talk about it. Josh, you want to start with the NFC East?
Yeah, you want to get into you want to talk about the preseason a little bit with the panel.
Yes, a good idea. I'll say this real quick. I loved it. What I loved about it was Hugh Jackson said, I believe it was last week, that he hoped his players did not protest. But you know what? We have not only the Browns a bad team, there's no major star on the team. We have rookies, young players who didn't care. We had a white player, and I believe it was Seth Vakale, a tight end. And he protested and spoke about why he protested, and I just thought it was beautiful. It was unit. They supported one another. And these were young players. It wasn't no big name guys, and during that protest. So I think it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow.
Just some general ideas I had about the postseason. Just some thoughts right off the bat. To be quite frank with you, I really don't give a damn about the preseason. I'm sorry. It's meaningless to me. Even to try to see your projected players, it's just not the same because they're not going to be performing that way when it's week one in the regular season. That's just how I feel about it. I wish we would do less with the preseason games, make it maybe two. I honestly, I think the NFL should go in a format where they should start televising these practices or even scrimmages between teams. Because, one, not a lot of fans are able to get out to their team's facilities during the summer, and they want to see their teams practice. And, two, everyone is starting to think they're a general manager or a fantasy fanatic on their couch, and they will be tuning in just to see teams practicing, other teams practicing, not their own, just because they're going to be playing all 22 GM and scout. And I think that's just going to add a whole new incentive to watching that as well. Get rid of the preseason for the most part. Add more practices or a little bit more to the training camp ritual so we can have better quality of play, especially with the offensive lines. It's getting pitiful with this. It's kind of sad. And other than that, yeah, I mean, I love the protest. I love the direction it's going in. I love that the more players are joining in, especially of the white race. That's needed. More people need to stand up for that, and it needs to come together. Everyone needs to stand together for that. It needs to be a united cause. So I do applaud them for doing that. Fox, you got anything?
I said last week that Hugh Jackson saying anything about it was a bad idea, and he just proved me right. Because guess what? Hugh Jackson's the head coach of the Browns, and they're not going to be very good this year. So now you're not going to be very good. You have a potential players about whether you should kneel or not. He was really better served not saying a word, given the fact that his head might be on the chopping block if they go 1-15 again, which is a possibility given that it's the Browns. So I think the quality of the preseason play, it's been what it is. Guys are getting hurt. We had a few, key injuries to, players across the league over the last week. But, it's football. It's a part of the game. You got to evaluate these guys because you got to, you want to keep the right guys on the roster. And the only way to do that is to have them play football against other people. So that's my feeling on the preseason. Hugh Jackson, you screwed up there, buddy.
Yeah, Hugh blew it. He should have kept his mouth shut. There was no point to bring attention to yourself, especially in the contradictory way that he did. As far as the preseason is concerned, it's the same every year. Garbage. So.
Wait, well, the reason I'm sorry, I didn't say my reason for the preseason. I'll just say this real quick. The reason why I like the preseason is because you get to see players that your scouting department might have missed on. It gives guys more chances. I just don't think it's for the starters at all. Perfect example, and not to glorify on it, was Odell Beckham Jr. My opinion was out there too long for 2 quarters to prove a point, I guess, to the coaching staff because there was no rhythm with the team. And to me, that hurts because just like Josh, I remember pointing out, you know, if his cleats would have stood to the ground, to that grass, the man probably could have had some type of Marcus Lattimore situation with his leg, and that's career threatening. So I think preseason is good for the practice squad guys, the young guys to develop, because we have seen former stars come out from the preseason and emerge, like Victor Cruz. A lot of those guys would not get chances just by practicing and making it a team. You know, you want to see this guy get some real practice, and playing is 2 different things. Just like a 4.2 or 4.2 and a 40 at the combine versus a guy who was a 4.7 or 4.8, same position, and that 4.7, 4.8 guy does way better as a receiver than that 4.2 guy. So I think preseason is good, but it's not for your main stars. It's good for the young guys you want to see develop. And you might find a gem.
So what about televising practices?
Well, yeah.
Well, so wait, now to piggyback off that though, here's the thing.
Be real quick.
The thing with televising practices, in my opinion, is that you're telling the defense don't touch the offense. So it's kind of like it's like you're playing 2-hand touch. You're running different plays. It's not really the same. Is when you've seen a different type of defense, different type of game plan. Greg Williams was actually blitzing the Giants. Some preseason games you don't see that. You see a regular stance. They were actually stunting on the Giants. So when you're a team like the Browns, who are not a good team for a lot of years, you want to see guys emerge, and who gives you an idea who to keep.
All right. Well, real quick, you have an answer for that? You're on mute.
Yeah, so so if you do that, so if you just make the preseason a bunch of like young guys competing, the quality of football that you televise is going to start to decrease. So, you know, it's the preseason, but you got to have some of your guys that are going to make the team play, if not anything, to get them into game shape. And the quality of what you're watching is not going to be very great because these are fringe guys.
Right. Makes sense. All right, Timmy, you want to start us off with the NFC East so we can get through this quick, and then Dula and Mr. Fox can just rip us apart for our little guesstimations?
Yes, why not?
Hey,
listen, why not? Why not?
start with that bottom tier, baby. Who's the bottom in the NFC East?
Bottom tier is the Washington Redskins. That's right, Mr. Kirk Cousins, who, in my opinion, he knows he's on a Redskin next year. We got a 1-year rental to Terrell Pryor. We got a head coach who still who has 3 different running backs in 3 different years. My God, stay your ass in the bottom of Washington Redskins. Let's move on to the third spot. The third spot, you can give me all the hate mail, but Spoonie loves y'all. Remember that. Here's the thing. I got the New York Football Giants third place. You know why? Because a guy like McAdoo don't have any sense. You got the best wide receiver in the NFL in Odell Beckham Jr. You decided to let him play for 2 quarters. The man was a cleat, a thorn, a nail this long from having to stay in the grass, and his leg was done. And you know what, McAdoo? Here's the thing. Look at Deshaun Jackson. Anytime a player puts $100 million policy on himself, that means one thing. He won't play the same. He cares about himself. Let's move on to the number 2 team. And Fogman, don't hide from me, Fogman. You're not going to put there the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you know why? Because they, like the Dallas Cowboys, they have a nice offensive line, healthy offensive line. They have a pretty good offense. And you know what? I have to say, they have the second best defense in this division. So I got them number 2. And my number 1 team, I love you. I love you. Boys, we all know that. Listen, Zeke suspended. Look. We eat that. You know why? Because guess what? Morris, 1,000-yard runner, and Derek McFadden, 1,000-yard runner, the best offensive line in football. That's what the Dallas Cowboys. Free Zeke, baby. Free Zeke.
All right, Tim. You're gonna
surprise.
Gonna be a little disappointed, Timmy. I'm sorry because you realize in the NFC East, I know Cooper has said it numerous times, there hasn't been a repeat division winner in 15-something years now. What are we on now? 16, 17? We're climbing the ranks fast. Anyways, yes. Dallas is automatically not going to win the division again. I'm sorry. You actually are going to have a down year. I apologize. I don't make the rules. I just follow them. Dallas is actually going to be on the bottom at 8-8. If the division is going to be very close, the only thing that's going to separate the top seed and the bottom seed is going to be 2 wins. But Dallas is going to be 8-8. I'm sorry. You're losing a premier back for potentially 3/8 of your season. And we're talking about cornerbacks that are going to be fresh and newbies in a huge game where it does not benefit cornerbacks at all. And they're going to be going against some very good weapons in the NFC East. You've got some premier receivers this year lining up in the league. Or in the division, I should say. So I'm sorry. But on top of Dallas, with the same record, but they have like a 1 or 2 more division wins, I believe. I didn't tally it. Just counted it real quick. But Washington is there right above Dallas with just a couple more divisional wins. 8-8, same kind of year. They got a top offense. I think that's going to outplay Dallas a little bit, but their defense is still in question. Kind of a little young line. They got Jonathan Allen there. We can see how he can produce. And then second, what I'm going with is the Philadelphia Eagles at 9-7. I think Carson Wentz is going to have an even better year than he did. He's going to grow from his mistakes last year. I don't think Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith are going to be wow, but I think they're going to be serviceable enough to get the job done, especially when you're talking about a line that's being anchored by Lane Johnson and Jason Peters, and they got some serviceable backs that are both dimensional with Pumphrey, LeGarrette, and Darren Sproles. I mean, you got weapons all over in there, and their defense is not too shabby. But, yes, I am being a little biased with the Giants at 10-6 because I love the defense that we have right now. We need to maintain it, and we need to take critical point of it right now because it's not going to last. These contracts are going to catch up to us. We're going to have to pay people. We need to capitalize now. And the thing that worries me, of course, is the O-line, Eric Flowers especially. But with these weapons, we need to get the ball out of Eli's hands, and we need to capitalize with these short little passes and big playmakers. And Yak.
I dare you. I dare you.
Fox, go ahead.
Fired.
Go ahead. Give your Fox. Go ahead.
You're muted, Fog.
Okay. So, last place is going to be Washington. I gotta agree with Tim on that one. As far as the rest of them, I can't go against Dallas. I know there hasn't been a repeat division champ in like
come on, Fox.
Jeez. 8 or 9 years, but I think they've got the right weaponry on the offensive side of the ball. Again, their defense is going to be smoke and mirrors again. And the best defense in there is the Giants' defense. But I think Philly and the Giants are going to be competing for 8-8, 9-7, and second and third in that division. I think Dallas can pull off 9-6. I mean 10-6.
All shootouts with Dallas.
All right. So let me dump on everyone really quickly here in your dreams. First things first. I'm buying Philadelphia this season. I'm buying them so much that I think they can win 12 games, actually. I think it's a very good defense along with a very good offense. And listen, last season, Carson Wentz, his targets weren't good. I think they upgraded that. They got him another running back. That line has gotten better. Lane Johnson is going to be gone 10 games this season. Pound, I think you know, I like that acquisition of Darby. Cornerback was a big question for him, and they short that up. It's hard to pick against Philadelphia right now. New York, we'll see what their offensive line can do. Dallas, all right. Let me put it this way. Let me answer me this question. What's the best thing an offense can do for a defense? What are the two best things an offense can do for a defense?
Score.
Well, that's one. Well,
Time of possession.
that's one.
Time
Yeah,
of
that's it.
possession.
There you go.
Here's what I'm getting at. Not turn the ball over is one.
Right.
Time of possession. I think the reason why Dallas's defense was so good is that the offense chewed the clock. They milked a lot of clock. I don't know if they're gonna be able to do that again this season. But Zeke is gone for 6 games. And again, just on the defense, it's not a defense I want to leave on the field very long. If they can maintain that same time of possession, I could see Dallas getting 10, 11 wins. It's gonna be tough though. I'm still buying Philadelphia. Washington, whatever.
I hope you're right, Dylan.
You had that. You had number 2. You had that at 2.
I think they'll end up finishing 2.
All right, acceptable.
I believe it. I also could see Philly going off, just for the record. I think they're going to be a scary team.
I'd say 1. That's acceptable.
I could see a 3-way tie and it being a tiebreaker in division games at the end of the day.
Oh, don't say that. Please don't say that.
It's always
That's probably, like I said, those 3 are going to be very close. 10-6 and to 8-8 between 3 teams. That's going to be really tight.
Yeah.
And with Washington, I just don't know what the hell Washington's trying to do. I don't get it. I don't get them right now.
But they'll still put up points, so.
They don't get it either.
The NFC North. Okay, the only thing they have is the second. I have the Chicago Bears last place. The only thing they have is the second place Lee Russell and Jordan Howard. That's it. That's really all they have. I don't like the quarterback situation. Victor Cruz is probably the best wide receiver in that squad, and that's terrible. Well, I mean, and they what's his name? The guy from Alshon Jeffrey, when he was hurt, he's just a guy. He hasn't done anything yet. So that's all they really have on the Bears offense. I don't see anything, no big deal. Let's go to Minnesota Vikings. Mr. Quaddles, I know you're watching. I don't care. I'm picking your Vikings number 3. Do you know why? Because did you guys address the offensive line? I mean, you added a guy like Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray, but who the hell's blocking? And your quarterback is still Sam Bradford. My God, that's so sick. AP's not there no more. AP's not there. You got to do a receiving corps. You got a very good defense, but the offensive line is the key. You need offensive line to do a lot. Now, they're number 3, Josh. My number 2 team. Now, Della. I got the Green Bay Packers at number 2. I don't care about Aaron Rodgers. He's not God. Who is he? Wow. Who is Aaron Rodgers? I mean, let's keep this real. I'm going to say it right now. Aaron Rodgers is soft as tissue, my man. Only thing he can do is them dumb Hail Marys. Hail Marys ain't going to win you all the time. Got a good receiving corps. Offensive line is questionable, but who you have on defense? I mean, my God, it's so sickening. Aaron Rodgers. So what? Go eat some cheese. My number 1 team is the team that's going to have the best quarterback in that division this year, who's going to be the highest paid quarterback this year. And guess what? Ever since Calvin Johnson retired, Detroit's been looking kind of decent, adding some nice toys from Mr. Damn, what's his name? What's his name, Della? Say his name, Della. That's right, Matthew Stafford. And not only is Matthew Stafford gonna help Detroit Lions win that division, He's an MVP candidate. I got some things for Detroit for the playoff spot. I won't spoil it.
Damn. Okay.
Dilla, did you pay Tim to say this stuff?
I think Dude was trying to stay hush hush about that.
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
But Tim, I gotta agree with the bottom feeder of the league or that division. Keep saying league, but the division is going to be the Chicago Bears. That I have them at 3-13. I think they can sneak a divisional win against the Vikings somehow, and then I think they can sneak a couple more against San Fran and Cleveland. But that's their only saving grace this season. It's going to be kind of an S storm back there with Glennon and Trubisky in this year. And then right after that, I got the Cardinals. Not doing too hot either. The receivers aren't looking too great over there after Larry Fitz.
Who?
Wait. Oh, we're doing the North. See, I keep looking at this and thinking we're on the West. Son of a – I'm sorry. Yeah, I got the Vikings next. I apologize. 6-10, I got the Vikings. My apologies. Tim threw me off with this. Going North next after this.
He said the Cardinals.
The Vikings, I don't really like the Vikings too much. I do like Dalvin Cook acquired, but you just had Latavius Murray there, so that's going to be a little conundrum. And then you basically got the same thing with the Giants in TJ Clemmings there with Eric Flowers, kind of. It's a little bit of a clone over there. And outside of Stephon Diggs, you don't have too much proven except for Adam Thielen, maybe? All right, so – and then moving on from there, I actually have a little bit of a tie going on to lead the NFC North between the Packers and the Lions. I think both are going to finish around 11-5, potentially maybe 10-6. But I think that Detroit, they don't have amazing receivers. But Matthew Stafford, I think, is just so – he doesn't get enough credit for the play that he puts in at quarterback. And I think they have some decent backs that are also underrated in the sense of I'm waiting to see what Amir Abdullah can really do in the pass-catching scheme, even though Theo Riddick is going to steal some. But again, with Green Bay, it's going to be all Aaron Rodgers trying to perform without a real running back there. And they got some young bucks in the secondary, and their linebackers are getting old, man. It's not going to be the same defense in Lambeau. So I think if they get in double digits, it's really going to be Aaron Rodgers just having another MVP-esque season.
Lambeau. Green Bay.
Fox, go ahead, my man.
I think you guys are crazy. I'm going to agree with the Bears last, and I'm going to agree with the Bears being last because they really don't have any good receivers. All they got is Jordan Howard, and the quarterback situation is a dumpster fire, to say the least. But of the four teams, they had the best offensive line in both run and pass block in the NFC North. Detroit would be 3. They were one of the worst as far as the offensive line was concerned in that division, with run blocking and pass blocking. And I understand they had a good season last year, but that was an anomaly. I'm not buying it the same way I didn't buy the Jets when the Jets brought in Matt Forte and everybody thought, oh, yeah, they went 10-6, they got a shot. No, Detroit doesn't have a shot. The Vikings, they'll be second. But again, it's not going to be pretty either. This division, second place is 8-8 at best. And the Packers are going to take first. It's that simple. It's Aaron Rodgers, Tim. It's Jordy Nelson, the guy that's better than Des Bryant. It's Devontae Adams, Randall Cobb. Now they got Martellus Bennett. Yeah, it's the Green Bay Packers.
All right, so because this is my division, I know so much about it. Look, we'll start at the bottom. Look, Chicago's a joke. They are. And they're not getting better anytime soon. It's so Fogs. You did bring up the Detroit Lions offensive line. They did go out and sign T.J. Lang and Ricky Wagner to help upgrade that line. However, because I hate OTAs and 100%, Taylor Decker got hurt. We're trying out Greg Robinson, the former number 2 overall pick, as our left tackle. Oh, this might get ugly. I don't, and there's no telling when Taylor Decker will come back. Guess is as good as mine. The Lions, they have a shot, but it's gonna depend on a lot. Is Eric Ebron gonna be consistent? Is Amir Abdullah gonna stay healthy? Go to the defense. What are we getting out of Ziggy Ansah? He's on the PUP right now. They lost Kerry Hyder to a torn Achilles. Who's gonna play opposite him? They get Jared Davis. They go get Tease Tabor. They got big play Slay and Glover Quinn, but this as a unit, like I don't know what to expect from them. It's gonna be the same thing every year. If Detroit can't run the ball effectively, it's gonna be tough. Last season was a fun season to watch. The way the schedule is set up, they can't do that. They can't play from behind and do all this fourth quarter theatrics again. It's just not gonna happen. Not saying they don't have a shot. I think they have a shot at the playoffs. Who knows? But, Minnesota, Tim, you said offensive line. They did acquire Mike Remmers. They did acquire Riley Reef from Detroit. They did draft Pat Elfin out of Ohio State to play center. I agree, though. I don't know what – I still know what to get out of them on offense. Their defense will be fine.
All right. Hey guys.
What?
Finish.
Up top, Green Bay. Yeah, I know they got deficiencies, especially in the secondary. Everyone says it over and over again. It's Aaron Rodgers, and he's one of the few guys who can put a team on his back and get 10 wins. I don't see it being any different this season.
I got to run back to the NFC East, and I have to pick Tommy D, one of our dudes on Fury. And not Fury, sorry, on 2 Minute Warning Wall. Also, one of the hosts on our MMA podcast, Pride Rules. And he has a question for you, Dula. You stated that you think Philadelphia can win 12 games, right?
I do.
Does that also include preseason?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yo, Tommy D throw shade.
Oh, my God. We're talking 12 regular season games here. All right, let's not get it confused.
I'm gonna let Tommy slide on that one just because he knows McGregor's gonna get his ass kicked this Saturday. So I'll let him slide on that.
No, listen, you gotta understand something. Tommy D, great dude. He's a Raiders fan. Come on, Raiders fan. You know how they are.
When the Giants play the Raiders, we're deflating the football by 8 ounces.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Don't have anybody played the Madden game yet? Madden 18. Oh, it's great. The Raiders fan, my God.
Yeah, I got updated rosters.
Beast Mode
is out for 6 weeks.
I saw Beast Mode.
It's crazy.
Listen, I saw Beast Mode in the game. I ain't gonna see Beast Mode on the field, but I saw him in the game.
All right, we're going to the West now, right? So I can get this right.
Well, we go to the NFC West, right?
You can get your feelings about the Cardinals off your chest now.
Woo! West.
I can't wait.
LOB.
Peter Thomas, I know you're watching. Don't get mad, sis. Don't get mad. But I have the 49ers being last because they're going to rebuild. I like their defense. I like what they do on defense, but they're going to rebuild. Fourth place, I got the Rams. 3-4 defense, new coach in McVay. Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator. Aaron Donald. Is anybody saw Aaron Donald? Wasn't he the best defensive player? What's the problem? You want to trade him? Trade him. Especially playing the new 3-4 defense. You want your star player there. That's the problem. My number 2 team. Now, here's the thing. Say this. I don't have a problem. You know what? Yes, I do have a problem. I'm switching it up. My team is the 49ers. My number 3 team is the Cardinals. You know why? Here's the reason why. And I know on Fogman, David Johnson, the thing they got there. He's their best running back. He's their best receiver. He's the only thing they got there. The only thing Cardinals. They have a defense, but is this the movie on the say Roughness where the college team play both ways, offense and defense? No, this is the NFL. I'm sorry. Cardinals number 3. David Johnson. Hey, listen, you're free agent next year. Think about it. You go anywhere you want. My number 2 team is the Rams. You know why? Yes, I said the 3-4 defense, new coach. But you know what I like? I love the talent they got on that offensive side of the ball. Nice young talent. The defense will be all right because Wade Phillips is a genius in coaching defense. Let me remind you, the Denver Broncos still has the best defense in Phillips, who had him for 3 years. I think the Rams will get there fast. My number 1 team, Sean, cheers. See you in the playoffs, Sean. Cheers. Seahawks. I mean, listen, you still got a top defense, okay? They got a new beast mode. His name is Eat Mode, and that's Lacy. Lacy gonna do his thing. Lost weight. They got him nice and trimmed down. They got pro size. They got a good running back corps. And Sean's best things. O-line has been there. They lost their left tackle, but they traded with the Eagles for another left tackle. And they got Russell Wilson. He's calmed down. Relax. He got the woman. He got the rings. He got the team. Baby, he's going to the playoffs. Seattle's number 1.
I'm going to drink 2. Cheers to that one. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim.
Cheers.
Yo, the NFC West is kind of comparable to like Florida, the United States. It should just be cut off from the rest of everything else. It's going to be pretty bad. It's just going to be a disastrous little thing. On the bottom, you're going to have quite a few things on the bottom in this division. Well, first of all, the whole bottom of the barrel is going to be covered by a nice, a fool's gold layer of 49ers. We're going to have a beautiful display of quarterbacks in the California region, and basically nothing else to pair with it on the other side. So I'm looking at a 3-13 outing from San Fran for this year. And then we move it on up, not anywhere in the wins column, just to the 3rd place team in the LA Rams. Another 3-13 outing in the beautiful NFC West. What a competitive division. What happened? What was this, 3-4 years ago that they were talking about being the best? NFC East shout out. Anyways, moving on up, Jared Goff is still going to be terrible. Todd Gurley is going to regress probably even more. That team is just going to be sad, led by a 30-year-old. He's going to lose respect. You know what Shane McVay is? He's like Ash Ketchum trying to train Charizard. He ain't got enough gym badges. No respect. He ain't got nothing. And by default, we got the Seahawks. They're just going to take the division 9-7. They're going to be – I'm sorry. 2nd place. It's going to be the awful Cardinals at 5-11 because they're terrible. Just like Tim touched up on. What are you going to do? Give the ball to David Johnson every other down because Carson Palmer is almost 39? He doesn't have a vegan diet like Tom Brady. That guy's hurt every other freaking snap. And then you got outside of Larry Fitzgerald, who are your tight ends? They're all blockers. Jermaine Gresham. Who else is there? Troy Nicholson, am I mistaken? I can't remember because it's bad. They're not even receiving tight ends. Which Jermaine Gresham probably has a career of 8 touchdowns. And outside of Larry Fitzgerald, you're banking on this guy to give you like a career year in his retiring year. And outside of that, you're expecting John Brown to come back from this cyst on his spine. Like, yeah, I'm feeling good again. I'll be good again, I promise. And you got Bruce Arians making articles because he's yelling at his receivers for being terrible. And then we move on up. Now Sean can rejoice in being yet a division winner again in the NFC West at 9-7. You'll have some fumbles. You'll have some hardships there and there, but you will make the playoffs. You just got to get it together at the end of the season with those running backs, that offensive line, and Jimmy Graham being a soft little bit. You'll get it together, though. I have faith, and I feel Doug Baldwin might be a top receiver this year, surprisingly.
I mean, I sense a little shade from you, though, Josh. I agree. Jimmy is too soft. I can't stand Jimmy Graham. I have to agree. But although
is Earl Thomas coming back, Sean? Do you know?
Who?
Is Earl Thomas coming back? Is he 100% involved?
I don't know. I mean,
I've heard.
You'll see. But
yeah, that's going to be interesting too if he's not there.
I have to make this note. I love your Pokemon reference. What was that for the Rams coach? Was it Rams coach?
Sean or Shane McVay? I can't remember. Sean McVay? Shane McVay? Yeah.
It's Sean McVay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sean McVay. My apologies.
Hey,
Fox, you're up, buddy.
Oh God. Okay. Let's make this quick. San Francisco and the Rams, they're going to be fighting for last place. That's just it. They're the bottom feeders. Tim saying that the Cardinals would be in third. That's a joke. Dallas has a better chance at finishing in last than the Cardinals do finishing in third in that division. How about that, Tim? I'm nervous with Seattle, but I think they can win the division. I want to put Arizona there, but the receiver issue for me is a huge problem. David Johnson can't carry the load, and unless John Brown comes back and he's actually healthy, it's going to be tough. But Arizona could finish 8-8, maybe 9-7, and at that point they'd be tying Seattle for first. I'm not sold on Seattle simply because that offense sucked last year. That offensive line is going to suck this year. They've got Twinkie Lacey back there, so they're going to be banking on precise. And Russ was running for his life last season. Yeah, Doug Baldwin had a hell of a season, but Russ was running. How much more is Russ going to be able to take? I expect to see a fall off in the same mannerism that we saw Cam fall off from the beatings that he was taking.
Oh, that's cold.
A very ugly division. This is going to be a very ugly division. But Seattle should pull it out.
So I got a lot of hot takes on this division right here. First things first, Seattle's going to finish up top. They're going to win the division. I will say this about Seattle. Your window is closing. Your Super Bowl window it's closing pretty quickly here. You got another season or two before this thing is going to shut because of age and just defection. Ultimately, it's the NFL. Not for long, right? I think the bottom feeder is going to be the LA Rams. They got Sammy Watkins. I don't know how reliable he's going to be. It gives Jared Goff an actual, wide receiver to throw to now. I do feel as if this coach is actually going to use Tavon Austin in some obtuse way. I hope. You paid him a lot of money. They'll be fine on defense. Just their offense. Jared Goff, I don't believe in the guy yet. I'm not sold. I still, to this day, will always say in the pick. Guess Philadelphia benefited from that. But 3, I have the Cardinals. I'm sorry. I like their defense. I like the additions. I like Hassan Reddick. I think he could be a candidate. I like Robert Nkemdiche to take the step forward in place of Calais Campbell. I like the Honey Badger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the offense. I don't. It's hard to. You got David Johnson. And Fitz is a gamer, but Jesus Christ, what about the rest of the positions? And their offensive line, quiet as kept. It's not that great. I don't know, man. I really don't have a good feeling about the Cardinals. Who I am buying this season at number 2 is the 49ers. I'm buying them. They'll win 6 games. I'm buying them in that second spot at 6-10. I really am. I think. I think it's Brian Hoyer, right? He'll have a good 5 or 6 games. He'll win like 4 of those. Because Brian Hoyer will get hurt again, and they'll just squeak out to him in 6-10, second place in the division. Everyone will rejoice. This division is horrible.
Hey, Sarita, you hear that? You have a friend in Dula. You're not going to be the dumper of the division.
For the first time in how long, I have not shat on the 49ers.
Wow.
I still think they'll be terrible to watch, but they'll be second place in that division.
All right. That's what's up. All right. Let's move on to the NFC South because we still got the playoffs. NFC South. Now,
wait, let me reemphasize. I think you're going to be terrible. 49ers, you'll just be terrible in second place.
He's Sarita. I thought he was going to be nice, but no.
All right.
I hate him again. Go ahead, Tim. But carry on.
Now, if any NFL players watching this, we love y'all. We just having fun with this, saying our opinions, no disrespect. What brings me to my last place team in the NFC South.
All disrespect here. All disrespect here.
Is this guy phoning off the field? He's phoning on the field. And I talk about the Carolina Panthers and Cam Newton. I'm sorry, Josh. The Panthers will be last place. The best player this year hasn't played yet. And that's McCaffrey. He will be the best player and rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year on that team. And you know what about Cam Newton? We need leadership. We don't need this. I can't talk to you right now because I'm so ashamed to look at everybody's face right now. No, we need leadership, which he still hasn't gotten yet. Carolina Panthers will be last place. My number 3 team could not hold down the score in the Super Bowl. The Atlanta Falcons. Josh, I want to see how they do without Shanahan there. Julio Jones with his toe issue, that's serious. That's very serious, man. I mean, when he goes out, everything just falls. You know what? Dante Freeman is a stud, but is he a running back like like the best running back in the league in Ezekiel Elliott? No, he's not. Is he a running back like the second best running back in the league in Le'Veon Bell? No, he's not. Oh, the third best running back in the league, David Johnson. No, he's not. So I'm sorry. Yeah, I said that, Fog. Free Zeke. My number 2 team. My number 2 team is the favorite of a 2MW of a Football Fury brother and Mike Ford. That's right. Me and Mikey had lobster with butter sauce. We was eating them stuff. And you know what I said, Mike? I see crab legs. I see the Buccaneers number 2. Did y'all see what they put together around Jameis Winston? That's why he's preaching. And I love his game day speeches. My God, we're talking about this Sean Jackson. We're talking about Howard, the tight end from Alabama, with Cameron Brate, the other tight end, with Mike Evans. The defense is pretty good as it is. Saying they may trade for Le'Veon Bell. Oh my God. They're number 2 today. They may be number 1 in a couple of weeks.
Le'Veon Bell. They might.
Excuse me. LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
Pardon me. LaShawn McCoy. Team source. All right. My number 1 team is really the best quarterback in this division. And that's Drew Brees. I think they have the best running game with AP. And oh my God, number 22, forgot his name, Jesus. I like their receiving core with Snead, Michael Thomas. They also have Ted Ginn, who's from the Carolina Panthers. So they have that speed. Okay, they have on defense. Defense pretty much improved. I think the Saints will be more balanced with the passing game and the running game, something they didn't really have. And they got a decent offensive line. So I got Saints, Bucks, Falcons, and Panthers.
Okay. For me, the Hard Knocks team is going to be actually on the bottom, I believe, again this year. I know they're hyped this year, and I know they're saying they look better on paper, but for some reason, I just can't put my faith in Tampa right now. I don't like that. Doug Martin, especially, he's suspended right now. I still can't put faith in him. Charles Sims is going to be taking the load from there. He's serviceable, but I don't look at him as like a franchise back to carry that team. I like D Jackson, I like Evans, and I like Howard a lot, but it's also going to rely on Winston to take that step forward too and start being on a more consistent basis and really showing that he can just lead the team and not turn the ball over so much. A step above them, I think New Orleans can capitalize at around 9-7 this year. I still think they got some holes on the defense they need to fix. But I do know that Breeze, and I really like the weapons that he has. I think the backfield looks great, Peterson and Ingram. I'm a little concerned about his receivers outside of Thomas and Snead, but I really do think him and Fleener actually get on a better page this year as well. I remember being a Fleener owner last year, there was a lot of instances I was just clenching my teeth because there was like 5 or 6 times he was just arms reach out of like a huge grab or like a touchdown, and I know they're going to get that worked out this year, so I think they get on a better page. But I also think the Panthers rebound a bit this year. I don't think it's anything astronomical, but I think they can get a win above New Orleans just to take the 2nd seed in that division. I think Cam has a little bit of a bounce-back year. Nothing sensational. I think he's still going to be hit here and there with that line. They didn't really address it because they went with McCaffrey. They didn't go with, remember they had the chance to go with Cam Robinson or another Ramsick type, but they actually drafted McCaffrey in the 1st round this year, so we'll see how that pans out for him. Gettleman could be getting more flack this year from more fans and ex-players as they leave the Carolina organization. So we'll see on that. But I think I think the receivers are serviceable enough, and I really like Curtis Samuel, the pickup there, the rookie from Ohio State. I think he's going to be a really nice acquisition for Cam. But I think Atlanta, I just don't really see them falling off too much from last year. I don't see Matt Ryan being the QB that he was last year. I think he's going to regress a little bit. His stats were just off the board. So for him to repeat that is just going to be almost near impossible, in my opinion. But I still think they capitalize at around 11, possibly 12 wins still. I like what they have going on the team. Dan Quinn, I think, has got that team such a good head on their shoulders all the way around. And he's a defensive-minded coach. And when you have that paired with what they already have on offense, it's really just going to come together all around. And I don't think they're going to lose a beat. And I really think that loss brings them together even more this year.
I gotta agree with you. I think Tampa Bay is last place. Everybody's sold on them. I like everything that they've done, but again, their defense, it was pretty good. But like Josh said, it's going to all rest on Jameis Winston. And there's one thing he's consistently been is inconsistent. He's up and down in games. There's games where he's throwing 3 touchdowns, no picks. There's games where he's throwing 1 touchdown, 4 picks. And this is going to be, his 3rd year in the league. This is going to be the year that he's going to have to show and prove. You're more or less by year 3 going to know what you've got at quarterback. And right now, what he is a 24 touchdown, 16 interception guy, completing about 60% of his passes. That's what you're going to get. And that's not going to win you anything, especially with your running backs being what they are. Great receivers, great addition with a rookie tight end. Damn good defense. I think was 13th overall last season. But at the end of the day, your quarterback's going to be that be-all, end-all. And in a division where you got some stellar quarterbacks, Winston's at the bottom end of that. I'd put Carolina at 3. I agree Cam's going to have a bounce-back year. But their defense is going to be their cornerstone of why they have some success and what McCaffrey does. I think, their receiving core is junk. You're going to be relying on 2 rookies in Samuel and McCaffrey on the offensive side because Kelvin Benjamin looks like a left tackle at this point. And like I said, he's a bust. I'm putting New Orleans at 2nd. Their defense is the only thing holding them back. They've been, I think, 7-9 the last 2 seasons, and that's been carried by an offense that has been in the top 5 and the top 10. So if their defense actually shows up and gets just middle of the pack, this is going to be a dangerous team. And Atlanta struggled last year defensively, but they had a lot of young players there. Neil, these guys are going to bring it together. And that offense, even though they lost Shanahan, it's not like they promoted somebody there who wasn't running a similar style offense, and they still got the offensive weapons there. And Matt Ryan, even though he's not going to do this play like he did last season, it's not like he's going to tremendously fall off a cliff somewhere. He's still going to be a guy that finishes in the top 10 statistically.
I just want to point out real quick, Donald. I got Mike 4. I had Mike 4 on the line on my phone. I called him when Fox said their Buccaneers was last place.
the Saints are going to finish last. I really do. I like their offense. I still think their defense is bad. I think not only is their defense bad, it just lacks depth. They got Cam Jordan. They got Stephon Anthony. They go out and get they got Kenny Vaccaro. They got Von Bell. They go out and get Marshawn Lattimore, but it's just not a very deep group. It really isn't. I think that's going to hold them back greatly. And if you're expecting, I'll say this: I might change my tune if Adrian Peterson comes out and takes over the world and gives some bounce to the offense. Great. 3, I would say Tampa Bay. Look, let me tell you something about Tampa Bay. I said it before. I don't think they're very deep. A lot of top tier talent in terms of their starters. I don't think they're deep. Look at their offensive line. I like Ali Marpet a lot. I don't like the other 4 guys. I don't. I don't think it's looking very good for James Winston in that regard. After Jackson and Evans, I know they draft Chris Godwin. They got Humphreys, but I don't know, man. Like, if you look at every position across the board for Tampa Bay, it's not deep. Your stars are great, but after that, it gets ugly. That's not a recipe for success. 2, I think Atlanta has kind of this. I think they have a hangover. I really do. I don't think it's going to be catastrophic. I do think a hangover's coming. Number 1, I'm buying Carolina because when I watched Carolina last year, they weren't very great because their receivers couldn't get downfield. They weren't very fast. So they got faster. They got 2 players that can get down the field, whether it be as a running back, I could see them putting McCaffrey in the backfield, Samuel as a slot receiver, H-back type. Funchess is a great possession receiver. I think Kelvin Benjamin's a good possession receiver. The problem was they're slow possession receivers. They got faster. I think that makes a big difference for them. I see them winning the division.
Well, all right. So now that Josh, we got our division winners.
Yes,
and
sir.
I worked hard on my playoff bracket. Last week we did the AFC. The AFC division winners was the Patriots, Bengals. For my part, the Titans and Chargers. Okay. So I'm gonna do a bracket real quick. Just announce it out.
All right, let's do it.
East side. Hold on. Let me get this. It's very surprising. For the AFC side, have the Patriots, Bengals, the Tennessee Titans, the LA Chargers, the Miami Dolphins, more Ravens with the 6th spot, all in the playoffs. Don't make a phone call, please. Now, with the 6 spots for the AFC spots, let's begin with the playoffs. Well, we all know the Pats and Bengals got the best record in the AFC side, so the other 4 teams were better off for the wild card. I have the Titans playing the Ravens. Ravens at Titans. Ravens, Baltimore will beat the Titans. I have the Miami Dolphins playing the LA Chargers. I got the Miami Dolphins winning that game. Pats, Bengals, Miami Dolphins, and Ravens. The Patriots, Baltimore Ravens, and beat the Baltimore Ravens. The Bengals will play the Miami Dolphins. Guess what? The Bengals will beat the Miami Dolphins. AFC Championship game. I have the Patriots versus the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. NFC side, I have Seattle Seahawks, number 1 seed. Cheers to you, Sean. The Dallas Cowboys, baby, number 2 seed. Number 3 seed is the New Orleans Saints. Number 4 seed, Detroit Lions. 5 is the Packers. The Bucks are the 6th seed. What we have now is the Saints versus the Bucks. Detroit Lions versus the Packers. Who is Aaron Rodgers? Packers lose. Detroit moves on. Seattle plays Detroit Lions in the first round. Seattle was home. But you know what? Detroit got a little package. Say, hey, remember Golden Tate? Remember last year we gave you a close game. The Detroit Lions upset the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys. Don't say nothing, Sean. I'm not done yet. Us, do not disturb me. Seahawks lose to the Detroit Lions. The Dallas Cowboys played the New Orleans Saints in the playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys win. Della, me and you gonna have a 6-pack with some cheese doodles, some crackers, some for the main meat, young fish, anything. Cowboys will face the Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship game. I'm sorry, Della. The Dallas Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys versus the New England Patriots. It's time to retire the 40-year-old man and welcome Dak in time. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl.
I love it, Tim.
Yes.
We're going to play this back when Dallas goes 1 and done this season.
Y'all feel that?
Because this is going to be the happiest. This is going to be the happiest anybody is going to see Tim. Understand this now.
Drinks on me. Drinks on me, D. Drinks on me.
Sean, what you have for us?
I don't have anything right now.
All right, I'm going to bang my playoff picture out just real quick. My AFC winners were the Patriots, the Steelers, the Chiefs, and the Titans. And I had Denver and Oakland in the wild card because I think that division is just going to stomp. So naturally, New England and KC will have the byes. In our first matchup, it'll be Steelers versus Oakland. I think Oakland's got the firepower to take that away from the Steelers in the first round. And then we have Tennessee versus Denver. That's where it gets interesting, and I feel Tennessee's defense is much better, and plus they'll just have the better QB play overall and the better running backs. So Oakland and Tennessee advance. Now that the bye seeds are in, New England is now going to face Oakland. Interesting concept because they actually play earlier in the season, I believe like week 14. So that could be a rematch and a very, very intriguing matchup. But overall, I think New England just capitalizes. And then we have Tennessee versus Kansas City there. And I think in a surprise matchup, Tennessee's going to advance to the AFC Championship versus New England this year. I just think they have the O-line and the running game to actually advance, and they have a serviceable defense, if not top 10, statistically right now with Tennessee. So I don't think it's a long shot to see them get that far. But overall, obviously, I feel the Patriots are just – almost impossible to beat with what they have on paper, and if it capitalizes in chemistry, it's going to be ridiculous. Over to the NFC side, I had my G-men, Seattle, the Packers, and the Falcons, with Detroit and Carolina getting those wild cards. Now I believe Atlanta and Green Bay will naturally get the bye weeks there. So the Giants will match up with Carolina. I think they can capitalize there. I don't think that's really the hardest playoff match up in the first opening week. I think that's the easiest team. Then Seattle goes against Detroit, and I believe Seattle will take that. So the bye teams move in. Falcons against the Giants. Hey, we've seen that before in the playoffs. The Giants and Falcons. Get out of here. Julio Jones, who? And then we got Green Bay versus Seattle. Ooh, that'll be interesting. But overall, I think Aaron Rodgers, playoff mode, just way too much. Especially if they got the home field advantage. Seattle doesn't like the cold. So we're going to have Green Bay versus New York Giants. NFC Championship. Odell, he's going to go into Lambeau. He's going to plaster the wall. He's going to say, my bad, sorry about that. And he's going to catch those end zone touchdowns this year. It's going to be phenomenal. Then we're going to have New England versus the Giants. Super Bowl. Just naturally. It's got to happen again, right? Hat trick series. I'm not giving you the winner. I don't know what happens from there. That's why you got to watch, stupid.
Come on, Josh. The audience deserves a winner, Josh. The audience deserves a winner.
All right. I want to. No, I can't. I'm not jinxing. I want to hear Fox and Dula. I want to hear what they got thinking in the playoffs, though.
Dula, let me hear you guys. Foggy, go first.
I think y'all been drinking entirely too much. I don't know what the.
Oh, I can't wait to play this back. Oh man, 5 months. What do we got? 5 months.
Hold on, I want to say one thing, y'all. It's a privilege I had the privilege to hang out with Fogman. Very good dude. He gonna tell y'all the Eagles X, Y, and Z. But when you talking personally, he's an Eagles fan. They can never do anything wrong. My God, stop lying, Fogman. You're lying.
Oh wow, he calling you out.
He just hates objectivity. That's the problem. I'm gonna go with the AFC. It's gonna be the Patriots, Steelers, Raiders, Titans, Chiefs, and Bengals. I'm not gonna go through the whole spiel of who's gonna play where and play what. The Patriots are coming out of there. It'll probably be the Pats in Oakland in the AFC Championship game. In the NFC, Packers, Falcons, Seahawks, Cowboys. Saints are going to be my shocker that sneak in there, and the Giants. And at the end of the day, I just believe Green Bay is going to come out of there. Out of all those teams, they're going to have the best offense. And hell, we saw Dallas with a smoke and mirrors defense almost sneak into the Super Bowl last year. We saw Atlanta pull it off, and they actually had talent on there, just young talent. So why not? Aaron Rodgers. That's a bad man, Tim. Baddest quarterback in the league.
Can I ask Fogman one question real quick? Fog, who's Green Bay playing in the NFC Championship game, Fog? Can you please tell us that?
Probably Atlanta.
All right. I'll give it to you.
All right, Dula.
All right, on the AFC side, I got the Patriots as your number 1 seed. I got the Steelers as your number 2 seed. I got as your number 3 seed. I do have the Tennessee Titans. Number 4 seed, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. The wild cards, I'm going to give Oakland one of those spots. I'm going to give that second wild card spot up. Here's a hot take. Shout out to the LA Chargers for getting the playoffs at number 6. I like the LA Chargers. I really do. Even with their injuries, I still like them. I like you, Phillip Rivers. I really do. Not too much, but I still like you. But listen, it's the Patriots to lose. I could see a scenario of Patriots versus Titans in the AFC Championship game. Marcus Mariota is an emerging star in the NFL. But Patriots are too much. I see the Patriots in the Super Bowl again. On the NFC, your number 1 seed. Oh, man, don't burn me down. Your number 1 seed, the Philadelphia Eagles. As your number 1 seed. Your number 2 seed, Green Bay Packers. Number 3 seed, the Seattle Seahawks. Your number 4 seed would then have to be, who did I have? I had who did I forget? Unforgettable. Carolina Panthers as the 4th seed. Your wild card teams. I think the Cowboys get one of the wild cards. I think the other wild card is going to go. Oh man, it's going to go to the Atlanta Falcons. I think in the NFC title game, we're going to see Seattle versus Philadelphia, with Seattle advancing to the Super Bowl. Seattle versus Patriots. Hopefully you don't throw it at the 1.
Why Lacey ain't getting in if they give it to him?
Because Seattle, this is your last chance. Your window is rapidly closing.
Oh, you hate it.
And
Sean, they better have if it comes down to that, there better be a bowl of chicken sitting in the back of that end zone for Lacey to get in there. With some ice cream, some whipped cream on top of that. There better be a feast waiting for him to get into that end zone.
All courtesy.
Because you talk about Lacey and CJ Procise. You didn't talk about Thomas Rawls. That's going to be your starter, Thomas Rawls. You were going to ride him into the playoffs, to the Super Bowl.
He's gonna get ridden until he gets hurt around week 6 or 7, though.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. Man, don't
say that. Unfortunately, you'll be deflated to the Patriots. The Patriots.
No.
Repeat. Super Bowl champions.
You're gonna have something for the Patriots. You're gonna hear from me. We're gonna have. It's not
But
gonna
Seattle,
happen.
this is your last. This is your last. This is your hoorah.
I had an issue.
Okay, go ahead.
I had
Tim.
an issue. And don't get me wrong,
Dallas wasn't in there.
I mean, no, Della gave him the playoff spot. Playoff spot. Once you're in the playoffs, the whole new season, I give Della that. You know, I don't understand what you was coming from. It was Aaron Rodgers' love. Who is he? He's nobody. He's a regular Joe. He's hard. He barely was on the road. He couldn't even be Seattle on their house. He was soft as Scott Tissue. My God. Tony Romo beat Seattle in their house.
NFL right now.
This man can't even do that. And listen, all you want to do is shotgun, do this with the championship belt, and that's it. The man was crappy last year. It's keep it real. But all right, we move on. But I'll say this. What I disagree with you guys is that the Steelers, any team that's lost to the Browns in week 1, never made the playoffs. The Pittsburgh Steelers are losing to the Browns week 1. Playoff. And the Raiders, listen, these Raiders fans,
humor me.
Huh?
Didn't you say the Browns were going to upset the Steelers last year, Tim?
No, wait, no. I didn't 5-minute. What I said was, let's have a poll of which team will lose to the Steelers. Lose to the Browns. Now, I'm telling you now, this new look Browns defense with Greg Williams, I know it's preseason. Now, they got some new talent there. Jabril Peppers, let me tell you something. He ain't forgetting about the scouts saying, is he a safety? Is he a corner? What is he? Or is he a returner? Did you see what he did to Brandon Marshall's shoulder? And I'm telling you, these guys are hitting. They're going to beat the Steelers week 1 in their house. Browns will win the first game of the season in their house. They may lose the rest of the games. But I'm telling you this, they're going to beat the Steelers week 1. The Browns got nothing to see on tape. Nothing for y'all to study out. Now,
Tim, you said wait. Tim, you said Aaron Rodgers had a bad season last season?
No. I didn't say no. I said that Rodgers was up and down last year, and my thing is that teams took it in. He got high in the playoffs. Hold on. I'm gonna take this Cowboys sleeve and be real for a second. Hold on, let me take it off for a second.
A 104 passer rating.
Wait, hold on,
65% completion, and he was up and down.
If it wasn't for Odell Beckham Jr. dropping those passes and the other receivers, they would have beaten Green Bay in the playoff.
What does that have to do with Aaron Rodgers?
Okay, fine.
What is he? Listen, he lost. Listen, lost because the defense let a pass that should have never even got caught happen. Oh,
No. Because you spent that whole first game getting swept.
Hold it. Dula.
Rodgers was wiping on that whole first half.
First half.
Don't play. Let's not.
You did the whole game. First half and whole game to the things.
Wait, to Tim.
Tim. The whole game, the first 3 quarters. What did he do? He was destroying you.
And again,
wasn't even close.
Did we cut?
You shouldn't have been that close in the end.
Did we cut this guy at the end? Hold on. We cut his ass because that should have never had caught.
Tim, let's do it. Finish. Go ahead, Dula.
Wait, you didn't watch him? Bro, come on. Go back and watch that game and don't tell me that he did not bust your ass.
Listen. You know what it is, Dollar? I'm gonna keep it real, Dollar. I'm gonna keep it real. You know what it is? The thing is this: Aaron Rodgers. Don't get me wrong. He is a great quarterback. He's the best quarterback in the league. I give him that. But guess what? Teams got better. They're not gonna let him do the Hail Mary pass he did on Detroit again. Let's keep it real. He did it on Detroit. Who else he did on what other team he did? He did on 2 teams last year. I think it was the 49ers. Come on, let's keep it real. He cannot carry that team by himself. Who's the running back? A wide receiver Montgomery? Oh, wait a minute. The rookie Jamal Williams? Oh, wait a minute. Wait, we got the receiver Jordy Nelson, who Seattle Seahawks Seattle Seahawks manhandle Green Bay? And 5 man. Don't you ever in your lifetime ever say that Jordy Nelson is better than Dez Bryant when the man played like Scott Tissue against the toughest defense in Seattle Seahawks. That man, all he can do is run routes and try to go with speed. He can never, ever man up on a top corner like Richard Sherman from Seattle Seahawks. That man is trash. Don't ever say he's better than Dez Bryant.
His numbers say otherwise.
No.
We could go on forever. Maybe
Ellis better than David Johnson. Numbers say otherwise. Free Zeke.
Free Zeke. Thank you guys for the good show. I mean, any last word? I know, Josh, you've been quiet over there.
Oh, man. No, I'm good.
All right, yo. Thank you.
Hold on. One more thing. We got to give a shout out. We have to give a shout out. We have to give a shout out. We're gonna have a new group. First, we'll give a shout out to MMA Pride Rules. They'll be talking about the McGregor and Mayweather fights, which that's gonna be a good fight. Very interesting. We're gonna hear them out, and we got some ladies in the house. We got Charlie Angels in the house. We got Out of Your League, who will be making a debut very soon. And these females, they have no censor into what they're gonna say.
Yo, the woman of 2MW, watch out for them, man. 2 minute
Yes.
War, Out of Your League. We're gonna be popping up real soon. We'll post the information for that shortly. That being said, thank you, Dula, who had to jump off a little bit earlier. Josh, Tim, Fog, thank you guys, and we out. No doubt.
Yes, sir. 2 weeks. Blue.